Abuja segment of Lagos to Kano high-speed rail line, one of the key objectives of his visit. Tinubu is due to meet with 10 selected chief executive officers of 10 major Chinese corporations with assets under management totaling over $3 trillion across multiple sectors of the economy, including information and communication technology, refining oil and gas, alumni production, seaport construction, harbor construction, and dredging services, financial services, satellite technology development, as well as many other critical sectors. Some of the MOUs to be signed between the two countries are in areas of deepening of cooperation in green economy, in agriculture, in satellite technology development, in social media enterprise development and promotion, as well as blue economic development and national planning cooperation. According to a statement prior to the trip by a presidential spokesperson Nigerian Gelale, he said, Mr. President would thereafter join the Forum on China Cooperation Summit, where several African heads of state are present to engage with Chinese leaders, and various more important matters will be talked about. Quoting him, he said, at this FOCAC meeting, President Tinubu, in his capacity as the chairman of the ECOWAS, Authority of Heads of State and Government, will deliver remarks on behalf of the region and certainly would proceed to the high level of peace and security plenary, where he would further deliver remarks on peace and security in the region and in Africa to his capacity as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He continued saying, this engagement is expected to yield very tangible, immediate and future dividends for the sake of Nigerian economy and for the benefit of Nigerian people, and the President is placing a premium on deliverables, ensuring that this is not a talk shop, but that this is something that will yield results for our people, justifying any expenditure that is made during the course of the trip. Different story, NNPCL spokesperson Olufemi Soneye admitted on Sunday that the firm was strained by fuel supply costs. The company stressed that this financial strain has placed considerable pressure on the company and poses a threat to the sustainability of fuel supply. The admittance confirmed a report that the prolonged fuel scarcity across countries is caused by the $6.8 billion debt owed by NNPCL to international oil suppliers. The development indicates that the NNPCL, which is the sole supplier of PMS in Nigeria, may not continue to sell the product between 617 and 720 per litre. Recall that the Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria in July said that the landing cost of petrol was 1,117 naira per litre. Although NNPCL has repeatedly denied paying fuel subsidies, it has recently admitted that it is only taking care of premium motor spirit importation shortfalls between the company and the Federation. Reacting to the developments, MS Ingwa, aide to the Minister of Housing Development and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, said NNPCL has the option of increasing pump price and raising money through asset sale. The only immediate options now are increase the pump price of PMS to reduce the burden of subsidy on NNPCL. This will not even bring quick and enough money for NNPCL, or raise money through assets or equity sale to offset debts and properly plan, he said on his X handle on Sunday. Experts has advised the federal government to tackle the incessant increase in pump prices of petroleum products in Nigeria. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Society Watch, a development expert, Minabo Lawson, said the looming hike in the current price of petroleum products across the country is alarming and should be given priority attention.
PMS available because these other factors are reliant on the PMS because that controls the price of transportation. Okay, maybe.
Lawson maintained that the essence of business is to make profits and return on investments amidst regulation.
Okay, So you cannot blame them. Rather, you should work on what the problems are. Nigerians are crying, reduce the cost of PMS.
Coming after the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission issued a one-month moratorium to traders and other market stakeholders involved in exploitative pricing to crash the prices of goods. Like we said before, this continuing the previous story, oil giant Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, yesterday admitted that its financial strain may affect the sustainability of petrol supply. Its admittance came on the heels of reports that it is indebted to suppliers to the tune of about $6 billion. According to the report, supply agents have been reluctant to make the product available. The development has forced the oil giant to resort to stock rationing and to prevail on major suppliers not to cut off supply. No fewer than 5 vessels meant for Nigeria have refused to discharge fuel to NNPCL due to fear of non-payment. One of the major suppliers said at the weekend it was learnt that the $300 million bailout by the federal government was not enough for the company to sustain petrol supply nationwide. The NNPCL admitted the financial strain in a statement by its Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Oluwafemi Soneye. A source told reporters that the government had shown concern. On Saturday, Soneye said in oil trading business, transactions often operate on credit with intermittent outstanding balances, saying there was nothing extraordinary in the outstanding financial liabilities. He was reacting to reporters by news houses that the uncertainty over the payment of the $6 billion has made most suppliers hesitant in bringing products. The international news agency had indicated the Afreximbank Bank disbursed $925 million to NNPCL as part to syndicate the 3.3 crude backup repayment facility. The NNPCL using supply agents have been the sole importer of petrol. The NNPCL is struggling to supply dealers due to shortage of products at its tank, a source confirmed at the weekend. The source said bulk sales of ships and trucks to depot owners have slowed down in the last 5 days due to the shortage of supply. I was aware that at some point in mid-August, the federal government had to come in by giving money to the NNPCL to defray some of their outstanding liabilities and boost the confidence of the suppliers to continue. The situation has increased pressure on the petroleum company, which has now resorted to rationing the stock it has while appealing to the long-term suppliers not to halt supplies. The agency said the company had still not paid for some January imports, and the late payments amount to from $4 billion to $5 billion. Under contract terms, NNPCL is meant to pay within 90 days of delivery. Price not sustainable. On August 19, the oil giant claimed the government has been moderating the average retail price of petrol with a view to ensuring that Nigerians have access to it at a stable price. The NNPCL said it has been making PMS available for retail distribution at about half of the landing costs under an agreement with the government to safeguard Nigerians from the global fluctuation in oil prices. Its Chief Financial Officer, Omar Ajayi, explained that the company has been offsetting the shortfall in landing prices and sale price through a reconciliation arrangement between the government and the company. He said the company has not paid any money to any marketer in the name of petrol subsidy in the last 8 years or 9 years, while the official pump price of petrol is about 600 naira per litre. The average landing cost of petrol now is about 1,200 naira per litre. The Minister of State for Petrol, Heineken Lokwobiri, said the NNPCL Limited needed to adjust its pricing strategy for imported fuel to curb smuggling. He also admitted that NNPCL had financial constraints in maintaining and rebuilding Nigeria's aging pipelines. Lokwobiri said the weak pipelines are susceptible to vandalism. Lokwobiri, who spoke at the 2024 Energy and Labour Summit in Nigeria, said selling imported fuel below the landing cost is a key factor fueling smuggling activities. On Monday, the Nigerian government has arrested protesters in connection with the last month's end-bad governance protests and demonstrations on charges of war plotting and attempts to topple President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The police arraigned them at the Federal High Court in Abuja, where they all pleaded not guilty to all 6 charges. The Nigerian police filed the charges on Friday as the government cranked up its clampdown on protesters and others linked to the end-bad governance held in major cities around the country between 1st to 10th of August. According to the charges, the 10 protesters acted in concert with Andrew Martin Winnie, aka Andrew Povish, a 70-year-old British citizen, with intent to destabilize Nigeria, called on the military to take over from the government from President Bola Tinubu. The prosecution accused the defendants of inciting citizens to destabilize Nigeria through the protests. In another grievous allegation, the government accused the protesters of acting in concert with Mr. Winnie to wage war against the state. According to the charges, the protesters did this by attacking and injuring police officers and burning police stations, High Court Complex, NCC Complex, Kano Printing Press, Government House in Kano, Kano Investment and Promotions Agency Office, NURTW Office, and several other buildings. This offense is said to be contrary to Sections 410 of the Penal Code Northern States Federal Provisions Act. The 10 defendants, who were brought to court by heavy police presence, pleaded not guilty to all the counts. The defendants include Michael Tobiloba Adaramoye, aka Lenin, 28 years old, Adeyemi Abiodun Abayomi, aka Yomi, 34 years old, Suleiman Yakubu, 28 years old, Okpaoluwa Edled Ojo Simeon, 50 years old, Angel Love Innocent, the only female among them, 51 years old. At the proceedings, still ongoing as of the time of the filing of this report, Abubakar Marshal from Falana and Falana Chambers appears for the 1st to 4th defendants. The 5th defendant is represented by a lawyer identified as Hamza, the 6th to the 8th by Deji Adeyanju, and the 9th by Ahmed Abdurrahman. Already, the trial judge, Mr. Nwiti, had ordered the remand of 75 protesters, including at least 28 minors, in jail for over 2 months. The judge issued the order in an earlier case on 22nd August based on the ex parte application of the police. One of the defendants brought to court on Monday, Ms. Innocent, was among the 75 persons ordered to be remanded by the 2 months by the judge. The detainees have filed an application asking the court to reverse the remand order or grant them bail on liberal terms. Amnesty International condemned Nigeria's clampdown on protesters who trooped out in August to demonstrate against the economic hardship in the country. Another person that has spoken on the issue of the NNPCL is former President Atiku Abubakar, who has accused the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, of lacking of transparency following its admission of a 6 billion debt to petrol suppliers. The NNPCL revelation made on Sunday, September 1st, worsened the fuel scarcity that has gripped the nation for the past 6 weeks. The Chief Communications Officer of the agency, Olufemi Soneye, confirmed the debt, highlighting the severe financial strain it has imposed on the company's operations. He said, NNPC Limited has acknowledged recent reports regarding its significant debt to petrol suppliers. This financial strain threatens the sustainability of fuel supply. Soneye stated he assured that NNPCL remains committed to the role as supplier of last resort, as outlined in the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, saying that it is working with government agencies to ensure a consistent supply of petroleum products nationwide. He assured that NNPCL remains committed to its role as the supplier of last resort, as outlined in the Petroleum Industry Act, saying that it is working with government agencies to ensure a consistent supply of petroleum products nationwide. Reacting to that development, Atiku expressed deep concern over the situation through his media aide, Frank Shaibu. Quoting him, said, "What has become of this fictitious or phantom profits you once proudly proclaimed? Layers of deceit, and lack of transparency have brought you to this unfortunate juncture," Atiku said in a terse statement via his X handle. Further described the current actions as ruthless and disturbing. In a different story, Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu says federal government plans to release $800 million for the construction of substations and distribution lines under the Presidential Power Initiative. A statement issued by the ministry on Sunday said the minister disclosed this during a facility tour of TBEA Southern Power Transmission and Distribution Industry in China, adding that the funds will be allocated for the construction of substations for Lot 2 and substations and distribution lines for Lot 3, with $400 million designated to cover the franchise areas of Benin, Port Harcourt, and Enugu Distribution Company discos, while Lot 3 covers the franchise areas of Abuja, Kaduna, Jos, and Kano discos. Adelabu said the administration of President Bola Tinubu is determined to transform the power sector, adding that several initiatives have commenced that are gradually restoring confidence in the sector and amongst power sector consumers, particularly industries, and recalled that in 1984, about 40 years ago, Nigeria was able to generate 2,000 megawatts, and it took over 35 years to add another additional 2,000 megawatts. The minister said the renewable energy segment will be sourced from a combination of hydroelectric power from small dams, solar energy, and wind farms from shore and offshore winds, adding that the national grid in its present state cannot support the vision for the power sector. And this is where we wrap it up on this edition of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network in the city of Port Harcourt. I am King David Obasi, thanking you for staying tuned so far with us. Stay connected on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X, formerly known as Twitter, Atlantic TV/net. Watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for staying tuned. Up next is Victor Peter with the international tidbits.